Unauthorized Cannibal Chapter 5 Damn it, really? Sitting alone in the dark with a cannibal may be a horror story, but when there are two cannibals, it is more like the prelude to a romantic relationship. Neither of them moves when the pendant light suddenly goes out, but even the non-conspiracist Will Graham suspect that it is too coincidental to happen. Things have been going smoothly. They have had a few dinner dates, exchanged several unauthorized cannibal survival tips, and even gone to the cinema together. But Will feels like he is torn between 3 part-time jobs, and indeed he is. He has to answer Jack's call for backup, read scratchy papers, and also be Hannibal's kitchen assistant. He enjoys the Hasten's handmade mattress in Hannibal's guest room very much. Would be better to share his bed. My apologies. The electricity has been unreliable since the hurricane. May I invite you to continue our conversation in my basement living room? Eyes fixated on Will's lips, Hannibal asked softly. Yeah, sure. This can't be true, can it? Will has been secretly searching for Hannibal's special pantry since the first night he was invited to stay, but to no avail. It is certainly a pleasure for a food enthusiast like him to be granted the opportunity to appreciate Hannibal's cooking performance, but he is more eager to explore where the magic happens. The sound of the door turning and then overpowering scent quickly brings Will back to reality. The density proves that Hannibal must spend the vast majority of his private time there. Dim-cut lights seep through the crack, casting faint shadows on those prominent cheekbones and highlighting the upward angle of his thin lips. Will kinda expects to see bodies on hooks as he steps in, but the basement living room is almost a replica of Hannibal's office in Baltimore. He is certain, however, that the locked door at the far end holds much more sinister secrets. Is this for more private appointments? Emphasizing the last 3 words, he half-jokingly teases. My business associate and her partners place high values on privacy. Please, make yourself comfortable. The equivocal reply does nothing to dampen his speculation. But before he could realize it, being in a confined space with a high concentration of Hannibal's scent for only a minute is enough to make his head spin. He rests his foreweight on the back of the oak armchair, gasping for air and rubbing his feet against the exquisite wool carpet. Well, is something wrong? Leaning forward, Hannibal's voice sounds like incantation, luring him into confession. No? Sorry, just feeling a little bit intoxicated. Not looking into Hannibal's eyes is mission impossible for Will at the moment. From 2 glasses of Cabernet Sauvignon, Hannibal knows it is not the right answer, but couldn't think of anything else. No, from this addictive scent. He probably should not say it, but is too fussy to give a shit. What scent? Hannibal asks, bewildered. Damn it, Hannibal, really? What a face, a very vivid lesson in how to hide your emotions. Will would applaud if he were not in this semi-paralyzed state. Yours, for pop's sake. How on earth can you be unaware of such an all-predominating scent? Isn't that the plan? To put him downstairs and suffocate him with such hotness. Damn, and damn. Hannibal's expression is really convincing. He would get away with it with any other FBI trainee, but not today. No freaking way. 1, 2, 3. It takes 3 long seconds for Hannibal to comprehend what Will is talking about, because the only person who was able to sense it has been enshrined in the most secret corner of Hannibal's heart for more than 3 decades. That scent. Misha used to climb on his lap, rest her head on his chest, and talk about his growing scent all afternoon. She never got tired of it, and neither does Hannibal. I can assure you, this is completely unexpected. Hannibal closes the distance, getting down on one knee. I need you to trust me. Can you do that? Will blinks a few times, then nods slowly, unsure how to respond. Good. Now I'm going to carry you in my arms into another room with better ventilation. I need you to hold on tight. May I? Hannibal squeezes his hands gently, waiting for confirmation. Yes, Will mumbles. He thinks he must have held his breath in Hannibal's arms, and all he could feel was Hannibal's thumping heartbeat. They walk across several rooms in haste, and finally he is carefully placed on a stainless steel table, still holding Hannibal's arms. The cold surface does a great job of clearing his head. What this is about? Why am I feeling this? He asks in a hoarse voice. I presume this is cannibalism, an extremely rare occurrence between cannibals who share concordant cannibalistic traits. That explains why he could also see Will's count. Scientific studies of related subjects are rather scarce. as only the tiny group of people with such an ability are able to experience its unique powers, including but not limited to mind sensing, shared vision, and olfactory sensitivity between the pair. For over 2 centuries, any study of cannibalistic powers remained taboo. He lost track of how long it had taken him to research this, because he always wanted to explain it to his Misha, to see the beautiful smile on her face after getting answers from her beloved brother, even after he had lost her. Wait, what do you mean, concordant traits? Being the adopted cannibal son, Will has never heard of any of this. The fresh air and Hannibal's touch soothe him immensely, and he is finally able to think. It means we share similar preferences in hunting and food consumption, my dear Will, and we would make a lovely cannibal couple, Hannibal adds silently, not wanting to frighten Will. Also means we share the best kisses. Before Hannibal has time to react, Will sits up on the table and tugs at his collar, shivering his lips and scent eagerly. Surprised, Hannibal manages to keep holding Will loosely around the waist, continuing his consolation while using those skillful lips to show his soft protestations of love. Yes, and much more, if you allow me. Gently biting Will's soft skin, Hannibal whispers in Will's ear, I would die for it. Chapter 6. A Unification of Love. Will Graham is awakened by Jack's call at 6 a.m. sharp. Despite Jack's shouting echoing across his mind, he is comforted by the warmth passing through the tight arms around his waist and is dragged back into the peaceful dreamland. Don't worry, I'll wake you up at 6:30. Listening to the thumping cadence of his heartbeats, Will sinks deeper into sleep. What really dispels his drowsiness later is the aroma of roasted polpette and perfectly brewed coffee. Exactly how Hannibal performs his faultless cooking magic even when he isn't physically present in the kitchen is a mystery, but that's a delightful plus. Permit me to give you a ride. Taking hold of his curls, Hannibal places a soft kiss on his collarbone, licking the swollen back mark. No, you get some rest. There is no doubt that Hannibal was the one who worked harder last night. Will purrs with delight as he leans in and takes a deep breath of his lover's scent. Being already in Baltimore provides him with a substantial amount of additional time. Furthermore, arriving at the crime scene, your professor's limo in the morning will only raise suspicions. As you please, my beloved. Breakfast is ready downstairs. I look forward to hearing about Jack's furious face at dinner. It's a Chesapeake Ripper. Signature surgical precision and excising of organs. Beverly stays as she scrutinizes Will from head to toe. You look stunning today, Mr. Graham, she adds. Price and Zella nod synchronously in agreement. Well, having a flamboyant boyfriend who insists on customizing his clothing undermines his effort to stay unobtrusive, but he's sure Jack doesn't give a damn unless it relates to their crime-solving rate. Acknowledging Bev with a nod as he passes by, Will stops in front of the pulsating heart. Is it him? Jack inquires matter-of-factly, fully aware of what he will hear. Without a doubt, but this piece of work indicates some changes in his life. Explaining a love letter dedicated to himself in front of his colleagues feels a little bit awkward, but he probably needs to start getting used to it. Explain. Without looking at Will, Jack walks towards the display. This is a candid declaration of affection and longing. The victim's hands are sewn to the beating heart, a unification of renewed love. Will adjusts his glasses, recalling the titillation he felt when Hannibal taught him to suture in tandem with the muscle flow. The white stargazer lilies growing within the veins symbolizing his yearning for what he has lost. Adapting to the growing pain probably takes years, and his agony gradually transforms into the fertile ground for the purist to flourish. The distant gaze of the victim depicts the Reaper's anticipation of what is to come. The emptiness that once tore him apart is now refilled with love. That's pretty romantic, isn't it? Beverly pops up with a folder and takes a closer look. The pumping device is trendy for cardio sashimi in the knots impossible to trace. Do you notice he uses different knots on each side? The Reaper must be enjoying himself. Striding off before Jack has a chance to yell at her, she manages to sneak well and I know something isn't right look. Only the hunter's band is by the Reaper, not the fisherman's knot. Will answers inwardly with his usual undemonstrative demeanor. Damn, he is already beginning to long for those wonderful polpette. Full report due by 5 p.m. Understood? Impatient to wait for Will's response, Jack shoots his rigid stares around and waves to disperse flocks of inquisitive local officers. However, he knows it is just a duplicated effort. Whenever the Reaper strikes, there will always be countless fan videos on TikTok by people who are willing to pay exorbitant amounts of money for live footage of the scene, mostly unauthorized cannibals. But only this cutie captures the Reaper's heart. Hannibal never really considered settling down, particularly after establishing his own business with the Verger family. While he is accountable for only a small portion of the business, comprising recipe design, dismemberment training, and market development, his to-do list is still piled up to his neck. As a result, he is always accompanied by someone Margot chooses from their breeding when asked to attend exclusive parties hosted by Masquerade Farm. He has no objection to the way the Verger family raises their prey, but he is certainly drawn to individuals who fend for themselves. What about the beautiful, unauthorized cannibal FBI agent who shares his passion for culinary arts and is able to perform a complete cannibacy sync with him? That sounds too good to be true. So the answer is a resounding yes, which is why he's now donning a Doberman print apron and preparing for their 8-course meal. He is willing to explore everything with his gem, raising a real puppy included. However, before Will could sweep all dog shelters in and around Baltimore, they still need approval from his dad. About adopting a stray, he means. This would require Hannibal to meet him, and Will's large extended family maybe. As for Will, there is a whole other reason for that, as important as puppies. The first time Will met Misha was in Hannibal's Mad Palace during their first sync practice. Beyond the astonishing vividness of Hannibal's recollections and emotions, lie decades of accumulated grief and remorse, something only accessible to Will. While he is powerless to rewrite the past, he can always shape the future, and it would be theirs together. Will never envisioned that one day he would be excited to present his boyfriend to his loved ones, but there is always the first time. Do you mind if I introduce you to my father and siblings? He almost regrets asking once he finishes the sentence. Almost. I'm only thrilled to have the opportunity to make the acquaintance of the person who raises such a remarkable gem. Words dripping with sincerity, Hannibal presses gentle kisses to Will's fingertips, embracing his hesitance. Hurrying for the relationship, perhaps, but Hannibal is always proud of his efficiency. As Hannibal begins to visualize which set of suits to wear for meeting his future in-laws, he is interrupted by a series of notifications banging his phone. In a matter of seconds, the screen becomes inundated with messages and gifts from the group chat, ultimately resulting in his phone being jammed. Your family is quite different from what I imagined, he says with an irrepressible smile which reveals his good mood, and it only adds to his charm, inevitably causing Will to blush. You can mute the chat if it's bothering you. That's what Will usually does. Otherwise, he'd be stuck all day responding to their affectionate messages. They wouldn't mind, at least in Will's case. No, I'm truly flattered. Hannibal places his phone on the countertop and gives Will an enveloping embrace, and I eagerly anticipate establishing a family of our own.